Mm.
Hello everyone. Hello. Can you all hear me? All right. Thank you everyone for coming to today's talk, okay, on the special program in science. Okay, thank you for dropping by the e-open house of CHS. Right. So today we will have Associate Professor Prof. Liu Yicheng to present on the special program in science and what makes SPS special. Right, Yicheng, can
I start? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me well? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Han. And also thanks Mentor and many other students join me today. In particular, Max still under quarantine in a hotel. So coming back from Chicago. So first of all, let me start by introduce myself. My name is Liu Yicheng. I am the Director of Special Program in Science and also the Deputy Head of the Biological Sciences. Let me give you a very warm welcome to join this faculty of e-open house section, particularly in the SPS section. So I would like to tell you today and why sorry, my slides jumping. Yeah, why the special program in science is so special. Okay, I hope at the end of my talk I can convince you that SPS is a very special and for you to join and when you study at NUS. So what is SPS? The special program in science is an academic enriched program under Faculty of Science. It's not a CCA. It's also not a club. Okay. As you may have participated in several talks about CHS by many our colleagues. You may have listened the speech by the president, NUS president, Professor Tai Chai, if you pay slightly more attention, you may have learned SPS was or have been mentioned several times, multiple times in several of his speech. SPS was established in 1996 by Professor Tai Chai himself actually, when he was the dean in Faculty of Science. So given the 25 very successful year, SPS is considered one of the oldest and most successful program at NUS. In addition, I am also so proud to say SPS could be the first program that emphasis on the integrated science, active learning, computational communication skill in NUS curriculum. So these skills now have been adopted or emphasis in the coming CHS. So SPS provide or conduct a very enriched environment to follow students' passion for science and learning. It's a student-centric and peer learning program. So with our very clear pedagogy in mind, and to train our future excellent student and scientists and thinker and learner on top of our student major, SPS student will undergo a very special design integrated science, vigorous training through this entire program. So yeah, that's how I'm coming to introduce you. So every year, SPS only recruit about 40 students. Okay, so this is how we select a student who are really enjoy doing science. So why make special, the SPS so special? Of course, I can give you another 39 reasons, but here I summarize those 7 reasons I feel myself, and you may not be able to find in other programs. Okay, so first of all, we have a healthy sense of humor. Okay, we learn science is fun and learning is fun as well. So SPS is not only a program, it's indeed a family, I always say. In SPS, student, staff, and even our alumni are very well connected. We participate and we follow each student's learning progress. And overall, we are not only good at academic program, and our students have fun in science and enjoy participating social and societal activity and having learning through a very hands-on experience as well. On one hand, we emphasize on vigorous training and learning. On the other hand, we establish a very close, warm, caring community. So community itself is very unique. And the other thing is diverse. Our students are recruited from various departments and with many different cultural background as well. So because the nature of diversity of our student and then spontaneously, it developed a very inclusive, multidisciplinary learning environments. Our students come from chemistry background, biology, physics, math even. So we put these students together and learn together. And similar to our student body, SPS have an excellent teaching team with a different, also come from different departments. Our lecturers are devoted for the program and have a strong background in research and also learning. Dr. Chamega here, you can see he smiles, always. And also Dr. Zihan, they are the faculty or university teaching award winner as well. Every member of our staff devoted in inspiring our students to be better learner and confidence as the global citizens. So the other thing I would like to mention, the reason 3 is a mentorship. SPS is unique because it has very successful peer learning structure and mentorship systems. SPS work like family, as I mentioned. All the members, included our staff, student, alumni, work very, very closely. We put our student in the driver's seat. They play significant role in all the activity, including teaching and others activity also. After finish 2 years program, our senior student consider third year, fourth year, even included our graduates or alumni, and they participate as a mentor, actively engaging, teaching, mentoring our junior student in their module, in their project, and even research, and giving very small community within SPS. We fully facilitate and maximize our interaction between professors, mentors, our students. We look after each single student's progress in our program. No one will be left out. So the mentorship are very, very unique in SPS. And the fourth reason I would say is because our unparalleled integrated or interdisciplinary curriculum. SPS have exercised integrated science for the past 25 years. Just like I always say, like Chinese Kung Fu, we already have had a strong foundation already. We are the model system for other programs to to follow with indeed. So on top of our major, including our students' major, including physics, chemistry, life science, computational biology, even math, SPS provide our students with a very structured, unparalleled curriculum. I will go into briefly. Okay, so we have our 5 thematic based module and 1 research-based module. I would say in the past 25 years, SPS curriculum have been revised for several times. This is our SPS 3.0 version. So SPS will work together, will link very well with CHS. We have 4 modules, as you can see, which put together with our CHS program. And the other 2 would be student can use their UE to finish these 2 modules. And 1 would be research-based, and the other 5 would be so-called content-based. After finish these 2 years, and as I mentioned, student will continue and participate for teaching. This considered as a mentorship. So the last 2, this UE2 program are 3176 and 3172. We're going to push our students to challenge our students, open their minds, and allow them to work independently for the project and as a group. Okay, so these are very, very important. Continue for the CSS training. And on top, we are not only providing so-called traditional class teaching. Our students will learn a lot of good communication skill, presentation, writing, through the Viva defending their job, their project. And we also train our students with proposal writing, critical thinking, and hands-on experience. As you can see, many picture here and many this nice work actually provided by our students in the class. The other very unique is the novel pedagogy and assignment. SPS have its own pedagogy and assignment. Our student would not follow through the traditional so-called written exams. In SPS, we have no any written exams. All our assessment based on the project, based on the presentation, based on the Viva, we have the project-based project and together and let students interact, encourage our students to interact together with our mentor. So that is a very unique pedagogy. You have been overwhelmed by many talk covering or emphasize on computational skill. In SPS could be the one of program that most intensively using computational skill. from very beginning, we train our students with the Python skill, coding skill. And we also adapt many different program in the class. For example, we introduce ImageJ for the cell or the cell-based lectures. And students use ImageJ to look at the imaging and also use the Python to program and tracing how cell movement. So all these are you learn the computing and also make use in a class and project. Because this SPS student all the students will waiver for the computational requirements after you finish SPS. And the other very important reason is SPS have been very strong, supported by our faculties. We enjoy the significant privilege from the faculty. We have our own SPS so-called lounge, and we have our own lecture rooms. We have our own library. Okay, and you can see these several venues actually help our students to facilitate our students to interact and using this room for interaction, tutorial, and interactions. And students also have a quiet space for for their brainstorming and thinking in the library. So these are very unique also. On top, we have been supported by our own wet lab with many of this high-end equipment. You can see the telescope here, and we also have the high-end microscope and even the ATM. We have a wet lab, so students can come in to do their own project and under supervision. Okay, and we train students for competition also using our wet lab as well. My reason 8, this should be 7, welcome is 8. So I cannot finish by 8, I think. Okay. For the past 25 years, SPS have been doing very well. As you can see, every year we have very outstanding student awarded for the undergraduate research prize. These are very privileged in the Faculty of Science. In addition, our SPS students finish and been accepted by many local universities, NTU, NUS, NGS program, and also Duke NUS. Every year, we have a significant number of students get into Duke Medical School MD PhD program. We have significant number of students go overseas for PhD and accepted by top universities. We have built a very good track record for A-star scholarship and many other scholarship from the government foundation, for the government agency as well. So when they look at SPS, they know what kind of quality have been trained, and students have a very outstanding, excellent record. So on top of that, 25 years, we have many of excellent alumni all over the world, locally, and many of them stay overseas as well. They work as a professor, they work with government, they work with private or sector companies. Many of them are the MD, several are professors, and they all contribute to the society and play a very important role. Okay, this as our SPS alumni. So what can we offer you on top of these 7A reasons? Our SPS logo is live curious and be challenging. So on top of that, you can see we also train students with many soft skill, presentation skill, technical computational skill. Many of this we can offer on top of our program. And we particularly train our students and encourage them for international competition. For example, IGM, INST, SPS, for the past 3-4 years, we have very good record for this competition. And for many students, look at SPS, occasionally they think SPS is an elite program. I will emphasize SPS is not. SPS welcome all the students. They have high energy and also interest to do science and want to try the new things. And if you are open-minded, and want to try new things and willing to learn from mistakes. These are most important also. Yeah, and willing to work as a group. You share your idea, and you've been brainstorming and shucking by your colleague as well. So, then you are the one we are looking for. So yeah, we do not. You do not need to be a very good scientist now or academic teacher. Because you join SBS. SBS is opportunity to learn different skill. So it's open for learning, and you can learn more about yourself and what you can be. All the skill from SBS not only for academic and will be useful more in competitive, modern, and workplace as well. Okay. So before I start my talk, I would like to introduce our alumni. Next 10. He's so kind to join us today. He studied in Chicago, Northwestern University. Now he's coming back in Singapore, and he stayed in hotel for quarantine. And we'll have the honor to invite him back to share his experience as well. So yeah, before I finish, this is our QR code. Anytime you want to look into our more detailed SBS, we have very nice website. You can just log in, and you are welcome to send your question to this email. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I pass my mic to Max. Thank you. Thank you very much, Max.
Max. Okay. Thanks, Prof. Now, can y'all can hear me, right? You're good. Okay, so I'll share my screen with my,
very well.
Slides. Okay, Zhan, could you enable sharing for the screen share? Or if you have my slides.
Prof, you have to start, yeah. Okay.
Yep, so while we get everything set up, I'm just gonna give a short introduction of myself. So I'm Max. I graduated from NUS about 2 years ago with a major in chemistry. And I'm currently a PhD student in Northwestern University in the United States, Chicago. And today I'm here just to give you basically a picture book and also a very interesting journey, share with my journey in my time in not only in SBS, well, mostly in SBS and the university in general. So just to give you a glance about what experience in SBS can be like. And what Prof. has shared is the pictures are nice, whereas my pictures are very formal, as you will see later, informal, as you will see later. And I hope that you'll find it interesting. And please feel free to stop me if you have any questions at any point in time. Okay, so can I share my screen already?
Yeah,
yes, I can. Cool. Yeah. So let me see. Okay, why can't I? Okay, let me see. Yeah. Okay, why can I share this? Here we go. Where's my slides? So sorry. This is, there we go. Okay, so yeah, you can see my slide, right? Cool. So Prof. has shown, we already from what Prof. has shared, we in SBS we're known for doing science. Okay, and science oftentimes to us, especially the beginner, is just this really mysterious kind of process where we just sit in the lab, somehow throw things together and it'll work out. We just don't know why it works out, okay? But as you will learn in SBS, if you do join, science is oftentimes a pretty dirty process and it oftentimes starts from the bottom up. And in SBS, what we actually train you all is to learn science really from the bottom up, and you will learn different aspects of it. So for example, I'm a chemistry major and I've not done life sciences since literally secondary 2. Okay, and what you see over here is actually 4 thematic pictures of the 4 courses that SBS SBS has offered. So over here we see this is a very basic diffraction pattern of light, how light can be spread on different colors. And then in the cell, this is an experiment that my group did, and we're actually tracking the growth of slime mold. And slime mold is actually is this collection of mold that apparently is smart. And this for me was particularly challenging because not only I have to learn biology from ground up, I also had to learn techniques to image them. And you can if you start to do science, and especially in SPS, you realize that a lot of times you have to be pretty smart with how we collect data. In this case, it might look not very clean, but the data actually helps a lot. It's very easily visualized using such a simple video. And in SPS, we'll teach you how to not only collect data, but process them. And oftentimes, a lot of science is not just done in the lab. The Earth, for example, one of the courses that's still being still offered under the CHS scheme. We used to do field trips down to St. John Island, where we spend like a two night field trip, where we actually collect data, field data, and from the field data we can see that there oftentimes it's not a clean data collection, and we oftentimes need to learn how to roll with the punches and figure out things as we go along. And you can see that, and finally, you see the last picture over here. This is actually a picture of an eclipse. And SPS is, of course, oftentimes science is not just, for us, it's not just about collecting data just for the hard science. Sometimes we just do it for fun. And in this case, in this current picture, we see that the eclipse was during December 2 years ago. And SPS organizes very big events to celebrate a lot of big natural occurrences in Singapore. These are things that oftentimes go unnoticed or unappreciated in a regular course in NUS. Now, what's the point of doing science if you can't explain it to people? In SPS, not only do we train you how to do science, we also train you how to communicate it. And you'll realize that if you join SPS, you basically have to do a presentation once every 2 weeks, basically that. And so this is a little snippet of one of the projects that one of my friends did during my course. And this was during the Earth. Hey, look, this video is very nice. What if I told you that this entire video from start to end was made with PowerPoint? From pictures to animations, everything was done with PowerPoint. SPS, we not only train you in the soft skills on how to share your ideas, your science. We also train your technical skills, literally how to use software and programs to make your presentations better. So, and because we're so good at this, not only do we have this, we don't even confine ourselves to the boundaries of Singapore. Oftentimes we go overseas. And we see over here, SPS students all around the world. We got to touch the India for competitions. This is bottom left, you see a group of students in Poland. For myself, I've been to Russia with my friends, and this is very close.
Max, can I interrupt you for a while? I think your screen is frozen at your first slide.
Oh yeah, still in the first one. Yeah,
no.
It's okay. You move, you share the full screen, and then you move to the slide 2 or second or third one. Yeah.
Oh no, can you see the slides then? Oh my God, it must be like something like speaking nonsense at it. Can you all see this at least?
Yes. Yes, I can see your mouse moving.
Okay, so now can you see my slides?
Yes, now you're in.
So it's still not in the presentation mode.
No, it's not in presentation mode. Let's just leave it like that if it helps.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, let me try to do something. Okay, let me try again. Sorry. Okay, do you see my slides?
Yep.
Sorry, technology.
But yes.
Yeah. So maybe it'll make more sense if this video is the video I was talking about. This entire video is made out of PowerPoint from start to end. All the animations, all the movements made from scratch using PowerPoint. And so SPS really trains you not in the soft skills, but also in the hard skills on how to communicate your ideas well. And we go outside the boundaries of Singapore, and we go all over the world. So this is SPS in India for competition, SPS in Poland for INST competition, and this is my group personally. I've been to Russia, Siberia, Novosibirsk for a scientific debate competition. Of course, we don't just go overseas, us going out. We also invite people from overseas, groups from overseas, who share the passion of science first, back here in Singapore. And this we see over here is a group of Korean students from KAIST who did a short 3-4 days exchange with us, where we not only had fun learning about science, but we also shared a lot of cultural ideas and how we do science from different perspectives. And because of the way SBS trains us, we are really good at because we are so passionate in what we do, we of course enter competitions, and as Prof. Lea said, we do well in them. And these are just a small snippet of the different competitions that we've won, both locally and internationally. So yeah, and these are all over the world, US, India, Russia, and even Singapore. Of course, prize winners, all of us. Okay. Now, SBS is not just a walk in the park. A lot of times you will see this, where I don't know why I have so many pictures of people sleeping, but we are tired a lot of the times. And you start to wonder at some point, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we make our 4 years before graduating so difficult? Well, for the first part, or rather, and the biggest part of it is the community in SBS. A lot of times, especially in university, you start to realize that because we don't have structured classes, like you don't have a classroom to yourself, sometimes it gets hard to make friends around. And because SBS, you have small classes that you work so closely with, almost every project is a group project, you learn to make friends very quickly. And these friends are lifetime friends, so lifelong friends. We travel the world together, we do our projects together. Basically, it's a very tight-knit community among students, and not only among students, but among the staff as well. So I gone at the times when, especially in JC or Poly, where you have there's a big gap between your student and teacher, but we're actually very close with our teachers. Like, for example, you see over here, this is just a small gathering of us with Shamika, Zihan, and it's Robert and Linda behind. We have dinner, lunch often together. Sometimes I cannot say this. Now I can say because I've graduated. Sometimes I go for drinks with Robert, you know. And these are the kind of things that it's very hard to find in a regular kind of community, especially if you just take a regular class. And of course, this is not just like because the community is so tight, especially with the professors. If you're ever applying for something, you know, it always helps to know the professor. So, and this carries on not even after we finish SBS after 2 years. This continues on all the way up to graduation. And sometimes in the scheme of things, you start to meet people who are special to you. And yeah, and this happens more often. Well, this happens pretty frequently in SBS, where you meet people that are special to you. So, and finally, of course, one of the biggest parts about SBS is mentorship. Because without mentorship, it will be blind leading the blind. And once a lot of students that have gone through the process, it's an arduous process. 2 years is difficult. You realize once you've graduated, you realize, that was a pretty difficult 2 years. Let's try to do this again. And a lot of these students tend to sign up again to become mentors. And the mentor student community, these mentors are your TAs essentially. And the TAs, while they do play a part in teaching you and sometimes even grading you, there are no boundaries between between the mentee, the student, and the mentor. We still, I go out with my mentees to eat, talk. We still communicate each other very closely despite my graduation. And even now, especially during the pandemic, I don't have pictures here, but during the pandemic, it actually has interestingly opened up a new avenue for mentors, especially those located overseas, to continue continue mentoring in SBS, where over Zoom, we can teach online using teaching like Python, for example, what I have done for the past semester. So the process of science, that you realize SPS will teach you how to make science, which is oftentimes chaotic, together with lack of sleep, a good dose of community, and of course, mentorship. You start to realize that you can actually start doing science. And this often leads to very good outcomes. And I hope you consider trying to join SBS and challenge yourself in taking this unusual but very fulfilling journey. Thanks. So if you have any questions, please fire ahead or just type in chat. So, okay, so Han. So Vanessa asks, do we indicate interest for SBS during admissions, and must we take majors in pure science?
Hi. Thank you, Max, for sharing our journey, SPS journey. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, we welcome any questions. Right, currently there's already one question in the chat by Vanessa. Right, so do we indicate interest for SPS during admission? So if you mean matriculation to the university, not with the university, so you do not indicate with the university. So, but rather you will open an application process, okay, and it will be sent to all students who are matriculated. So through the admission site, okay, you can apply for SPS, right? So the other question is interesting. Must we take majors in pure sciences to be eligible for SPS? So currently we are accepting SPS students from year one onwards. Okay, so at that stage, you will not have declared your majors. So the short answer to this is no, right? That's you, yeah, because we admit students from year one, and at that time you have not declared your major yet. Okay, but of course, this is a program that really hopes to train students who are passionate in science. So yes, we do hope that very much hope that you'll be science majors. Yeah. So yes. Yeah. Thank you for the FOS admin help. Yes, you do need to get admitted to CHS first before you can join SPS. Yes. Oh, okay. Food science and technology. Yes. I think currently, again, the short answer is yes. That we welcome students from different departments. They're not necessarily just from physics, chemistry, and biology, right? So I think Prof. Phil, we do, right, for food science.
Yes. For the food science, yes. But you have to consider, because food science itself has a very packed program. So you have to balance your time for your major and also other minor or program like SPS. But I believe the changes for CHS may give you more room to use the UE are coming for SPS as well. And you can see in my talk, they have a 4 major under SPS already considered in the CHS. So you only need to use a 2 UE to fulfill the requirement in SPS. Since you have, if I'm not wrong, you have a 13 or 12 UE space, you should have enough space for the SPS program. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay, there's another question. Is there a limit of the number of students in SPS? Yes, there is because we are a small program with limited resources, right? And yeah, so because of the limitation of resources, there is a limit to the number of students joining SPS. And yes, we do hold an interview for our admission process. Right, so each year we typically open the application. We accept about 40 to 50 students, right?
Yep. The next question would be the workload. Okay, so I think I give a student the mentor or Max have opportunity to share your own experience for the workload.
So yeah, the workload, I'm not gonna lie, it's not light. Compared to your major, we used to joke in SPS is, why isn't SPS just declared as a major? because oftentimes that's the amount of workload that's the amount of perceived workload. But if you take a step back and you realize why is the workload perceived to be so high, it's because a lot of students are very passionate in what they're doing. And oftentimes they just don't want to just do the bare minimum. You realize that when you start to do something, you are oftentimes, and with most scientists, you're not happy with your current standard. And especially this happens when you compare it to your friends. And so there's this arms race oftentimes, and students get inundated by the workload and the pressure that is self-inflicted. The workload itself generally is, if you do the bare minimum, it's actually fine. But of course, in SPS, we're not looking for the bare minimum. And I think that the most important part about dealing with work as in university, and especially in SPS, is that you need to see the fun and joy of doing things. You can't just be like, oh, I have to write another lab report. It's like, oh, I'm gonna write a lab report to think about what's happened, read more, that kind of thing. So workload-wise, I'm not gonna lie, it's heavy. And that's why you see the pictures of us like, half dead, especially during the first 2 years. But after that, you'll realize, not too bad. I'll sign up again for Mentor so that I can inflict the same things on my juniors.
Yeah, the current head mentor, do you have anything to share, Raj? Prashad?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Prashad. Workload-wise, yes, compared to, let's say, average module, because SPS doesn't really follow like the test or like written test system. So a lot of the things are group work and project-based, which means that it is really up to you to decide like how far you want to go, how much additionally you want to explore beyond the concepts that are taught in class or like the base concepts which are required for the project. So because like we have such a big diversity in our group, like many different ideas come up and different people explore these ideas in different ways, and that leads to each person putting in a lot of effort to find new things and share them with the rest of the community. So I would say the workload is high because everyone wants to do their best and wants to discover for themselves new things and share them with the community. So yeah, it just takes a bit of time management, which is also in its own right an important skill to learn. And if you get that time management right from an early stage in year 1 and year 2, then you should be pretty set for the rest of your uni life as well.
Oh, to point out, like the workload, while it's high, it doesn't mean that your grades are inversely proportional to the workload. Your grades are actually, in SPS, the grades are pretty quote unquote lenient. And like, as always, there's I think only like throughout the course of 2 years, maybe 1 or 2 written tests in
and
SPS.
I just add also, Max, sorry, that some of the students are taking another major.
Yeah.
So maybe if any one of the mentors has another major, because, SPS plus another major. So we have a few of those students and another program as well. Right. So I don't know if any of the mentors here are taking another major, have been taking another major and SPS. It would be good to share. Whoever knows how they manage to take SPS, another major, and another program.
Anybody over here? I don't remember.
Okay, very good. Linda, the one question related to your work. Okay, would you like to answer? To John Tan. A hands-on activity. Maybe let me quickly answer. Is SPS very popular? Of course, SPS very popular. SPS almost everywhere because it's special. Okay. No, I mean, yes, I think we try to make sure all the students in SPS do well, as Max and also our head mentor, Prashad just shared. If you take minor, you only go to class, even you fall asleep, you may also get minor. But in SPS, we make sure every single thing you have to learn. It's different because we are looking at you. Okay, that's a different. Okay, thank you.
Okay, hi John. I will answer this question because I will, with my colleagues, I will be teaching the Sustainable Earth module, not just me. But yes, the Earth that I'm teaching So far, we have done field work in marine science. So we have studied seagrass. We have collaborated with the Tropical Marine Institute in St. John's Island. Been trying to do a bit of geological aspects of the Earth because it's all interconnected. And also, I am always welcome to new ideas. So a lot of things actually have been coming from students from biology. Max has been also suggesting some experiments. So we are trying to do hands-on activities, and we are also welcome for ideas. So it's yes, we are trying to, it could be marine science, biodiversity, environmental sciences, and hopefully also geology, but we have done a bit of geology. Hope it answered the question.
Okay, Venice, I have the question also. Is the workload become too much, or we decide that SPS is not for us? Can we drop out the SPS halfway? Is there any penalty? Anyone want to answer? Yes. Okay. You will not have any penalty. Okay, I would say. Yeah, I think the key things, we want to make sure every our student come in will like it, will like our program. So therefore, our mentorship are just like Big Brother. The role become very important. We have two types of students. Yes, some students feel the program very kind of heavy, so they cannot taking care of everything because he or she also maybe have any other minor or major. That group of students at the end they may not feel, and after half year they decide not to continue. Yes, we do have. We have another half of students just like Max and people here. They're addicted to it. They don't want to leave even after graduate. They're still coming back. Okay, so this two type of scenario here. Yeah, I think you don't need to worry. The workload actually very reasonable. As long as you have fun, you don't feel heavy. Because the thing is, we want to make sure everything you learn, you are really learning it. You are not just like, you can get around and pass it. That learning outcome is really, really different. Okay. Dan, maybe I pass back to you.
Okay, sure. For the question on the programming module, since maybe I can answer that. No, we will not assume that you have a strong programming background to start with. We'll basically start from scratch. And of course, I think it's good to do more programming modules. So we are thinking of in the current syllabus, we are putting this in the year 1 sem 1. So in your freshman year, you'll be doing this programming module, which we will really guide you from the very basics. And yes, and this will allow you to actually take on more programming modules if you're interested, if that's for you. Do you need a strong physics background? Again, no, because
John, you asked the right question because Zehan is teaching universe.
Yeah.
So Zehan.
Or maybe I can ask my students to. Okay. No. Again, this program has been running for a long time, and we always have a mix of students from various backgrounds. So, and in fact, physics is actually a small department in terms of student number, right? So it's a small department. So actually, most of our students are not physics students, right? So we take care of the life science and chemistry and other students very well in this aspect. So not to worry. Okay.
Yeah, I think if I may add, many of our life science students, I would say high percentage, they may not, they're afraid of the physics or chemistry. At the end, after they learn from their peer, and vice versa, physics student, chemistry student learn from life science, the biology also. At the end, you feel that all the students can gel together. So that's why integrated science play a very important role. They have the same language at the end. They can talk to each other. They learn from each other, very naturally. Okay, so this how the SPS can provide you.
I think to add on about the mix of disciplines in SPS, right? You don't need a strong background because there's always gonna be a friend who is like in that major who can teach you, and then in the other module you can teach them back. And then this, other than the fact that this cushions like your lack of background, it also gives each of you an experience to teach something, and you learn better when you teach something. And then when you learn from a friend, the perspective is different from learning from a lecturer, for example. So you get different perspectives on the same topic. You express your own perspectives, then in the end you get a deeper understanding of everything that you're doing.
I think ultimately a lot of the big lure for SPS is the fact that you have a community that you can rely on. That oftentimes is hard to find in university, especially if you're not the kind that likes to attend camps, and especially now, right, where camps I don't think it's going to be a thing for a while with the coronavirus thing. And this was very interesting. It was an interesting experience for us, especially in SPS, where we could manage to get a group of 40 students who have never met each other physically to gel by the end of the first semester, all just done online. And this was actually we were apprehensive at first about how, because we wanted to build community and we were apprehensive about how the Zoom era is going to affect this. But turns out that because of the need to work so closely together is fostered in SPS. They have people who already made very close friends just through Zoom online. And I think at least for the next year, and maybe the next 2 years, you shouldn't expect a lot of in-person camps. And this makes the need to have a community of people around you ever more important. So regarding the integrated research project, how much freedom are we given to choose the field of interest by Darren? Speaking from my experience, you don't need you practically have all degrees of freedom. You're free to do anything you want so long as you have there's a professor in the university who is also willing to provide you a lab space, provide you mentorship to do it. Put in perspective, I didn't do life sciences, didn't do biology since secondary 2. My integrated science project was to engineer bacteria to make spider silk. You can see that you don't need to have, and there's number one, there's no limits of boundaries, and number two, you don't even need to have any prerequisite knowledge of anything. So yeah, you are free to do practically anything.
Yeah, the good thing for the integrated science, we keep mentioning also. Max mentioned about the SLIMO. Okay, Project SLIMO is a mode that give you most of people think this is the biology project. Indeed, we let students to design how it grows. And I remember, very very impressive by a student group. They actually try to mimic the subway map using the SLIMO growth pattern. So you can see how we jump from really the comfort zone and to let students to create their own project. Okay, so that's how SPS will provide you.
I think the big part about what separates the integrated research projects with UROPS, for those of you who are wondering, UROPS is undergraduate research project, which is some students tend to do it. I think the one big thing that SPS provides you is it's a soft cushion towards moving towards research. A lot of people who go into research immediately through UROPS, number one, they're going alone. They basically also have very little research skills to start with. They don't know how to read papers, don't know what to look for, don't know how to form a hypothesis. But in SPS, through the integrated research project, number one, you're not working alone, you're working with friends, like a team of 2 or 3. Number two, from even before the integrated research project, we already have a course that will teach you how to read very rigorously and critically, to analyze papers, see what's the current state of the art, and even come up with a proposal, quite a rigorous proposal, I might add, about what kind of projects you intend to look in. So that is something a lot of people tend to ask us, what's the difference between integrated research and just UROPS? I think the big thing is that you actually learn how to do quote unquote proper research from the ground up, instead of just like letting you wait and let you learn for like 6 months on your own. There's a proper mentorship program here. Is there any scholarship offered for students in SPS? I think there's no, SPS is not a scholarship. It's not a scholarship thing. It's a program, right? But like I think I met, so because the community not only, so when you realize that you are very close with your professors, especially the first 2 years, when you apply for scholarships outside, for example, with A-star, like for myself, I didn't get a scholarship when I went into university, but through knowing the professors in SPS especially, they wrote very excellent recommendations, and I landed a scholarship. So is there any scholarship offered for students? No, but is it easier for you to get a scholarship? I would say yes, just by merit of you being closer to more professors, which oftentimes you will not get this opportunity when you are having a large class of like 200. And the professor will even know your name half the time. But here, in SPS, the professor know you by name, by first name, last name, and everything. So yes. Does special program?
Yeah, on top of that, if I may add, because along the year, 25 years already, SPS students been doing very well and have very good track record. So whenever you going to compete a scholarship and you under the SPS, and you have given that impression, this group of students actually is work hard and doing very well. So we have very good, I would say successful rate to compete with A-star scholarship for past many years. Many of our students indeed having that scholarship for overseas or also for local study as well. Yeah.
So to add on, SPS also have a lot of alumni. So like in SPS, we have weekly sessions called Fireside Chat, where our head mentors or SPS invite alumni back from their workplaces, and they will share their experience. So these are very good opportunities for us SPS students to interact with the alumni, and perhaps even in the future land you a job. Yeah. So building relations is very important.
Yeah, the connection. Okay, the keywords connection become very important.
Does SPS still have the opportunity to conduct lab work in person now? Yes, in fact, our current semester, we are having lab work. Well, last time it used to be 1 lab session for the whole week. But now because of this restrictions, social distancing restrictions, I think it's divided into 3 times a week now. You can imagine that it is a lot more stressful for the professor and indeed your mentors. And that's why your mentors come in to help in run courses for SPS as well. So answer that, yes, there is still in lab work in person, lab work in person.
In fact, there's lab work going on university-wide, just that there are restrictions imposed because of the COVID situations. Right, but generally, yes, lab work is still very much ongoing in all aspects of the university academic programs.
Yeah, as long as under the guideline of a safety and social distancing, we do as much as possible for the lab.
What is your best moment?
moments in SPS? Okay, definitely from the student's point of view, come on.
Yeah, should be by on you.
It's a hard question. No, because there's so few. Because there's
so many. Yes, all the moments are good, right?
Come on, Russia, I'm sure.
Drinking
vodka. No, Russia is not even the best. I don't know. I think for me, okay, the most memorable, not say the best, but the most memorable one for me was a very interesting one. It was during my first semester. First semester. In the last part of the course, we had a viva, which is like a defense, oral defense. And I remember us staying overnight, four of us, sorry. One of them was a life scientist, one of them was a physicist, two of them were physicists, and the last one, I'm the chemist. Four of us sat around this whiteboard, and four of us tackled the one question together. It was very interesting to see how different majors thought about one problem differently. The physicists are obsessed with the numbers, accuracy, technicalities. Biologists are obsessed with the meaning of it, like what's the end product. And the chemist is just is trying to understand the mechanism towards how something operates. And for me, I thought that was especially interesting. And of course, we stayed overnight. By the time we're done with it, was you saw the picture, we're like half dead. But it was so fun because like not only that, we ate a lot, like ordered amines. And I think this is something understated. We have our own facility, right? And you don't have that in your university as a regular student. You have your own facility. You have somewhere to do work through the night that you still feel an enclosed, safe area. There's a sofa for you to sit on, lie down on, a place for you to work, and a facility like that shouldn't be understated. Yeah, so that was my most memorable experience. I still look back and it's like, damn, I wish I could do that again. What else?
Calling a PCR rice cooker.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I think SPS is one of those weird places where if you ask people what's your like most memorable, best moments, you'd be like, yeah, during my exam, like preparing for the exam, the viva, right? Best moment, remember is the best moment. We're a bit like damaged like that, but I think you will not get this kind of behavior elsewhere. And
Yeah.
it's actually it's quite fun.
The heating up of discussion, and I happen. If you go back to the lab or before the Congress, in our launch, you see a lot of students there using a whiteboard, 2-3 group students that will be discussing. That's kind of heating up of learning. I think you will not see other places. That's why I feel I'm so enjoy looking at students, very late night and still discussing, not only reading, memorize the question and book, but they are sparkling of the energy and learn from each other.
I think one of my favorite experiences in the 2 years of courses, right, was our fieldwork at St. John's Island or So as a batch, we came up with a project and like what kind of measurements we wanted to do. We had a whole plan laid out before we even went there. Then we went there, first day, went on the ground. All the plans don't work at all. So overnight we came together, had a whiteboard, and we just redesigned everything from the ground up as a batch. That was very nice. And also like every time stay in the university quite boring, and then had a chance to go out to essentially the wild and splash around in the seawater. Quite nice, quite fun. Refreshing change of pace.
I think the one not pitfall, but the one mentality that you cannot have in SPS is like, why am I doing this? You start to realize towards the end of your university when you start to actually work, you realize that, okay, immediately within the 4 years, it's not relevant. Who really needs to care about how the sun orbits around the earth, right? But somehow, somewhere in between the line of like after graduating and now, right? You realize, hey, wait, the equation seems familiar. Where have I seen that before? Or like, this behavior looks very familiar. Where have I seen that before? So I realized that a lot of it comes back down like, oh yeah, it's that time where I was just sitting around looking at the stars and wondering why the stars behave that way, and might not be immediately practical, but it's very fulfilling to know that, yeah, I know this and other people most people don't know this.
Under the Faculty of Science will be emphasized on the transformative science or transforming science. I can guarantee maybe the student can share their own experience. After 4 years training in SPS, you'll be really transformed. And the way transform you is you really rebuild your own confidence, and for presentation, for communication, in a way of science thinking, okay, critical thinking, critical answering the question as well, and also creative answering question as well. The study, the way of study, after SPS, I think you will feel you are very different from those students not coming for graduating from SPS. Yeah, they have many things that transform in you. Okay, I believe.
Vanessa asked, is there field works this year? Yes, there is field work this year. Not to the, normally we have a batch scale kind of field work, but this year it's a bit more broken up. There's still field work. And of course, all the field works will definitely at some point fail in some way. At some point, and then you learn, you have fun troubleshooting it, as what Tse Yong has mentioned. But yes, field works still a thing and still fun.
Yeah, seems many students looking forward for the field trip or field work.
All right, thank you everyone for the nice questions and the very nice answers as well. Thank you, mentors. Is there any more questions? Probably would like to give some closing remarks.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Head Mentor and all the alumni mentor, and also all our SPS students. And thank you, Lai Pen and our faculty staff as well. And thank you for our staff. And thank you particularly for the incoming student. SPS always have open our door for you. Okay. If you have more questions, you are welcome, as I mentioned, to send an email to us. You can log in our website, or we have a next section in May. So that, during the time, if you have more mature question or you have still not for sure what the SPS been doing, we are anytime we welcome you as well. So just feel free, because the fundamental I would say spirit in SPS is keep asking questions. So you're welcome to ask more questions as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you everyone once again.
Anyone?
Take care and enjoy your weekend. I'll close this session. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Layfen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Have a nice weekend.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Same to everyone. Thanks, Max.
See you in 2 weeks. See you in 1 week. 1 week plus.
Okay. Yeah. Next we should have some fun. Okay.
Yeah. I'll come back in one plus week, and then I have to also drop by the earth and like, oh, ask question again. Oh, why you do this?
In person, and Max comes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice evening. Thank you.
Yes.